Thank you for taking a moment to review one of Jive Communications' newest features, our Call Analytics package. Included standard on all accounts, this package is designed to give business owners and managers dramatically increased visibility into their call traffic. Going far beyond simple call logs, our Call Analytics provides both macro and micro analysis of your system's calling patterns, including some truly unique geographic-based reports. When you first access your Call Analytics, you are presented with account-level data for the previous 7 days. On this screen, as on future screens, you are able to change both the date range and the days of the week presented in the Analytics view. The initial graphs present you with aggregate account data. They show your aggregate totals for either the calls or the minutes flowing through your account, broken out by call type. Mousing over an element in the graph displays the associated total. On this report, as on many others throughout the Call Analytics package, being able to toggle between calls and minutes as the unit of measurement can yield some interesting insights. In this case, for example, we can see that even though the number of inbound and outbound calls is roughly similar, inbound calls are lasting about twice as long. Below the graph, you'll find a set of table data. In addition to summary statistics, you are presented with a set of statistical data including averages for calls and minutes by extension, DID, and day. The rest of the reports in the Analytics package follow a similar pattern. Graphs at the top, statistics and details at the bottom, creating a set of reports accessible regardless of the level of information desired. The Days tab presents us with the summary table, broken out by the different days of the week. This report is very useful for identifying trends in calling patterns. If we set the date range to 14 days, for example, we can identify what appears to be a trend towards greater calling activity towards the end of the week. Scrolling down, we get to one of my favorite graphs, a breakdown of calls or minutes by time of day. The report divides up the day into 1-hour buckets and shows the totals associated with each time period. This data is very useful for planning staffing, particularly in sales and support environments. Being able to identify when in the day most calls occur presents managers with another tool to optimize their allocation of staff and other resources. Below this graph, we see summary statistics for each day in the date range. Clicking on an individual day takes you to the same set of graphs specific to the date range selected. The next section of the Call Analytics package gives you detailed information on incoming calls to your different telephone numbers. The graphs present a ranking of numbers by how many minutes or calls those numbers have received, and the pie chart shows the split between local and toll-free. Continuing down, this table presents summary data for each telephone number. The rows in the table can be ranked by clicking on the column heading. Clicking on an individual number takes you to the detail page for that number, which breaks out the calls by day and by time of day. Note that here we can see the same trends that we talked about earlier. More calls before noon and more calls towards the end of the week. As on previous reports, you can toggle between minutes and calls on these graphs. By now we should be noticing the pattern. The extension page first presents you with a graph ranking the extensions by calls or minutes, and the pie chart breaks out the different type of calls, adding in calls that go to voicemail. Again, toggling between calls and minutes can be instructive. In this case, we see again that this account spends nearly twice the time on incoming calls as outgoing. The difference is even greater in the case of this first extension, with almost 10 times as many minutes on inbound versus outbound. The table below can be sorted by clicking on the column headings, and shows data for individual extensions in the account. Clicking on an individual extension lets you drill down and see what's happening for that individual, breaking up the calls or minutes both by day and time of day for the date range selected. We're particularly excited though about this last piece. The Maps component of your Call Analytics package lets you see where in the US your inbound calls are coming from. States are shaded based on how much relative volume they have, and mousing over a state displays the total number of calls or minutes for the date range. Clicking on an individual state lets you drill down and see which counties and even cities your calls are coming from. Counties are shaded more deeply based on relative volume, and cities are represented by different sized circles. Again, mousing over a city or county displays the total calls or minutes for that area. The Maps component is one of our favorites here at Jive, and the possibilities for its use are endless. Suppose you want to see in what part of the country or state your marketing message resonates the best. Or maybe you are attempting to track or isolate support and technical issues to a specific reason. Unique to the industry, the Jive Maps component lets you quickly and easily associate incoming calls with geo-specific data. Now, after all these great analytic reports, basic call logs may seem almost anticlimactic. But for those clients that want the raw data, a wealth of call logs are available. For the date range selected, you can choose from call logs organized by extension, telephone number, or even see all calls for a given day. Clicking on an individual call log shows you the date, time, number, type of call, and duration. We hope you've enjoyed learning more about the Jive Call Analytics package. We were excited as we put it together, we've loved it as we've used it internally, and we're thrilled to present it to our clients. At Jive, our opinion is that your phone system can be a powerful tool to drive business productivity and growth. This analytics package is designed to help you use that tool as effectively as possible.